Hey guys, naMehTnoJ here with another Who is Better. This time it is Dimensional Fissure versus Macrocosmos. Alright, so first I'll tell you what they do and what they are. Spell card is continuous, so it stays on the field as long as it's there. Its effect says, any monster sent to the graveyard is removed from play instead. Macrocosmos, trap card, is continuous, same thing as Dimensional pretty much. Stays there as long as it's there. First it says, you could special summon one Helios, the Primordial Sun, from your hand or deck when you activate this card. Then second part says, when this card, I read that wrong. While this card's face are on the field, any cards sent to the graveyard are removed from play instead. So same as this, except for this is any card, and this just says monsters. So there's a reason why it's good. Now, to let you know why Dimensional Fissure is played a little bit more than Macrocosmos. First, you can play it right there on the spot. Macrocosmos, you have to set it and activate it on the next turn. But it's nice if you don't want to remove something quite yet, but you need the card still to work against your opponent. But both of these, first off, ruin decks that rely on the graveyard. The reason why this is played in Gladiator Beast, if you have seen Dimensional Fissure Gladiator Beast or a D-Fissure Beast, is because you can play it on the spot. Secondly, Gladiator Beast rely on surviving through the battle. And if they do, they activate and their effects activate on the field. As whereas decks like Lightsworn, even though some of their effects activate on the field, they rely on the graveyard for Judgment Dragon and Lumina to get cards back or use the cards that are in there. Also, Wolf would not even activate, but still, it still wrecks the deck. But the reason why this does not wreck Gladiator Beast is because the only cards that would go to the graveyard most of the time would be Spell and Traps. And Gladiator Beast War Chariot is a trap card, so they can just retrieve that with E-Quest. So that's the reason why Dimensional Fissure is played in Gladiator Beast most of the time. So cards that would be destroyed by the other cards. Heavy Storm, Mystical Space Typhoon, Twister, and Dust Tornado. And the cards that would negate both of these would be Solemn Judgment. First off, the reason why people play Twister against decks that need continuous spells, more of move from play decks, is that's why they run Twisters, because if they know your opponent or their opponent is playing Dimensional Fissure or like Macrocosmos, they both have to be face up on the field for a Twister, for them to work, but also for Twister to destroy them. So that's one reason why most people play Twister, is against decks that rely on this. And cards what cards these two would wreck. Pretty much Freeborn Frog, because he has to go to the graveyard and he can only activate in the graveyard. So if you remove that option from your opponent, they can't use Freeborn Frog. Like I said, Lightsworn would be wrecked, mainly cards that have to have their effects activate for cards to be sent to the graveyard. So Lightsworns would not work because you have to send it for their effects to work, except for in the case of Lila and Jane. Gareth can only activate when a Lightsworn sends cards to the graveyard. Lumina is also another one which you could activate, but still. Celestia. Let's see who else. Yeah, just Celestia, and that pretty much it. Just Celestia is the only one that can be really hampered by these two, because she has to send cards to the graveyard. And also Raikou, because he has to have 7 cards to the graveyard to destroy stuff. So pretty much right there, if you have one of these out when the Lightsworn's on the field, their effects won't activate the 7 cards to the graveyard. They'll still stay on the field, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that they won't be able to, fill the graveyard with their cards and, get combos off that. Sangan, reason why, because he has to be sent to the graveyard for him to research monster, obvious. Mystic Tomato, and Giant Rat, because they're both recruiters, and their effects only activate when they're destroyed and sent to the graveyard by battle. So when you have one of these on the field, they're removed from play, they won't activate. Another reason why these are good. These are good. And Zombie Master, zombies in general, because they rely on the graveyard until they're removed from play. Of course, they're some of their cards, but they still need a graveyard for most of their combos to go off. So if you take away that option, zombies are wrecked. So yeah, mainly, but you know, Zombie Master is just to represent zombies in general. And also monsters that need cards in the graveyard to summon themselves, like Judgment Dragon, or Chaos Sorcerer, or Chaos Monsters, or Sky Scroages. But you know, still, like Chaos Sorcerer, he needs a dark and a light monster in the graveyard to remove from play to special summon him. So if you have these on the field and the monsters cannot go to the graveyard, then you already stop him from being summoned. So it's simple as that. Also, also cards that can be benefit off these two, or any one of these, is DD Scout Plane. What this card says is if this card is removed from play, special summon in face-up attack position during the end phase of this turn. So your opponent's or your turn, so pretty much any turn. And this, one reason why this is great is because you can be constant tribute fodder for effects. Pretty much just as like a wall that your opponent has to attack over every time just to get at you. So one reason why it's good, and plus it doesn't say he has to be on the field to be removed as long as he's just removed. But with this on the field, it's a constant removal, and you keep coming back as long as this remains on the field, or as many times as this card is removed itself too. DD Survivor, pretty much the same thing, except for only he has to be face up on the field for his effect to activate during the end phase. But you can special summon him in any position, and he's searchable, as well as the Scout Plane. But you need to use something like Mystic Tomato, which you're not going to be running if you're playing remove from play monsters. But DD Survivor. Another card is Necroface. What the last part of its effects is when this card is removed from play, both players remove from play 5 cards from the top of their deck. So basically, and this effect's mandatory. So whenever it's removed from play in any part of the chain, it will activate still. So Necroface will still activate. And when if your deck relies on removing cards from play, these two will be great. So just to let you know, guys, that this segment is meant to educate you guys sort of on what cards are good that you can see from people's comments and stuff, and also get to see how other cards work with what. So I'm not actually asking you what cards I should play. I'm actually just telling you how to become better at this game and with cards around you, and also so you expand your horizon pretty much on cards. But still, I do this pretty much for fun in this case. So, and since I'm not a partner, I don't have to make these on a schedule or anything. But still, I'm trying to tell you guys which cards are good, how they can work, and how you can play them to your advantage. So yes, and if you were to wonder what card I would choose for a deck of my own, if I was playing Helios, I would probably most likely go with Macrocosmos, but just for more simplicity and a lot easier to play out of the hand, I'll go with Dimensional Fissure. But if you want to remove all your opponent's cards, Macrocosmos is definitely the route to go. But personally, my vote is Dimensional Fissure. So that's pretty much it, guys, and peace out.